What's up guys, Coach Ashton here, getting ready to do a Teaching Tuesday. I do Teaching Tuesdays every single Tuesday in my exclusive Facebook community, but I wanted to start posting more long form content here on YouTube, giving you more value, education, tips, and tricks. So not just in Facebook, I know some people don't have Facebook, so I wanted to bring the value to YouTube. So what this looks like is that I will be looking majority of the time this way towards my other camera as I plan to do a live video in the Facebook community, but I wanted to definitely record it here as well and then upload it. And if you enjoy this, I hope you'll let me know down below in the comments. Every single week, every single Tuesday, I have a different topic to talk about. And today's topic is gonna be about water weight. I had a client who was up 5 pounds on the scale. She was absolutely mortified. So I'm just gonna walk through what is water weight, how we know it's water weight, how not to obsess or stress over the scale, and just kind of dive into some of the science behind why our bodies fluctuate so much as females. So if this interests you, then hang out. If you do have Facebook, join me in the free community. I will link it down below. And if not, then enjoy this little Teaching Tuesday video. What's up, you guys? Coach Ashton here, back on Teaching Tuesday. I'm in a little bit of a different place. I might be echoing. I'm in a big room with nothing other than my desk, but I am so excited because I've kind of revamped our house or this room to be just like my office. So I have a place that I can wake up and come to every single day to get things done. So you know the drill though. Every single Tuesday I hop on here, I educate, I share tips and tricks and education with you to help you thrive. And today's topic is a very, very interesting one that I think that you're going to learn a lot about. I know a lot of you stress out so much when the scale is fluctuating up and down, and I want to kind of walk you through why it's happening and why we can't prioritize or stress so much about the number on the scale, and talk to you a little bit about water weight. So first things first, you guys know what I do, what I say. If you're here, let me know down below. And then if you're catching the replay, just comment replay. I love seeing who is here and who is getting value from these Teaching Tuesday videos. I also have a microphone on, and if I look this way, it's because I am recording for YouTube also. So one of my 2025 goals was to create more long form content for YouTube. And so if I look over here, it's because I have a camera this way too that I plan to share on YouTube as well. So we can invite new people into the community that way. And for people who just don't have Facebook, they can easily find this on YouTube and hopefully take some value away from it as well too. So again, if you're here, let me know down below. I appreciate you joining. If you're catching the replay, just comment replay. Hey Angie, happy to have you here. Okay, so when you guys joined this live video, I'm sure you saw the name of it and it said 5 pounds up on the scale, question mark. Here's what's actually happening. So I actually sent out an email on Sunday. If you're on my email list, hopefully you received that for whatever reason. Sometimes people get them, sometimes people don't. Make sure you're checking your junk and your spam and marking me as an important person so you don't miss out on any of the emails that I'm sending. But I kind of talked about this topic on Sunday, but if you missed the email, I'm going to dive into it a little bit more here. So let's just say today I want to talk to you about something that a lot of us stress over, and I kind of just mentioned that already as I opened up this video, and that's the number on the scale. How many of you stress when that scale goes up when you're trying to lose weight? Ring a bell? Because it does for me. I used to obsess over it and weigh myself every single day, and I actually had a client of mine recently message me freaking out because the scale was up 5 pounds after starting my program. Like literally just absolutely mortified at the fact that it was going up because she immediately thought that she was going to lose weight here. And while that happens a lot of times, I just want to kind of walk you through what was happening in her circumstance and let you know that again, that it's okay if the scale, fluctuates more times than not. So she thought she was gaining weight or gaining body fat, but the truth was her body was actually healing. And I'm going to kind of explain that to you and walk you through this. So this is why she thought that she had gained weight. So she actually had been eating better since joining my program. So of course, you come into this, you don't know what to do, you're stressed out. Nutrition's usually the number one reason why we don't see weight loss or fat loss. So I had her tracking her macros, I had her eating more protein, I had her drinking more water. I mean, she went from drinking 30 ounces of water a day to 80 ounces. So that is a lot of freaking water to introduce into your diet if you were not used to drinking that much. She started eating more whole foods. That's something else that I wanted to prioritize for her hormones, was to introduce more whole foods, lean proteins, obviously fiber, so your fruits and veggies, instead of processed foods that she was solely relying on when she was on the go 24/7. She was finally starting to fuel her body the way that she needed to, with all the good food, all the water, all the movement, all the things. But instead of the scale going down like she wanted wanted it to, or like we all want it to, she saw a 5-pound increase and immediately panicked. Like we all do. Again, I will say it time and time again. I don't know anyone that steps on the scale and sees the scale goes up and thinks it's a good thing. And the fact of the matter is society really has taught us women to base our worth on the scale and make us think that we're absolutely failing when that scale fluctuates or when it goes up, but that's not always the case. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about the science behind water weight. And I know you know what it is, but I don't think you necessarily, or it doesn't necessarily click. So I'm hoping that's what this Teaching Tuesday video does for you, that you begin to understand and realize what's really happening with your body, especially as a female. Our bodies are constantly changing as female hormones. Like I just said, water weight, whether you are, holding or storing body fat because your hormones are haywire, like there's just multiple different reasons why that scale is fluctuating. But the body is constantly shifting fluids based on hydration, your food intake, stress, and hormones. Okay. Hear me loud and clear listening to that, or listen to that again, because you're going to begin to realize that as females, there's always something going on in our bodies, whether we want it to or not. So to gain an actual pound of body fat, fun fact, listen here, you need to actually consume 3,500 calories. Guys, that is a shitload of food. Whether you believe me or not, track your food, and I promise you it's going to be a lot harder for you to get to 3,500 calories a day, unless I guess you're eating out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because they make it very easy for you to eat that many calories. But you have to eat 3,500 extra calories over what you burn in the average day to gain a pound of body fat, and she absolutely was not doing that. To gain 5 pounds of fat, which is what she stepped on the scale and weighed herself at, she would have had to have eaten 17,500 extra calories. Do you really think she did that in literally a week? No, absolutely not. She was definitely in a calorie deficit. So I just want to put that into perspective for you, because again, I don't think people understand how much food you have to eat in order to gain a pound of body fat. So that wasn't fat gain when she stepped on the scale, okay? If you're not picking up what I'm throwing down here, hydration shifts. Her body was adjusting to all the increases that we were making within the program with her water intake. Again, she went from 30 ounces to 80 ounces. Guys, that's a drastic amount. And I know talking to some of you too, you feel like you're floating away when you start to drink that much water, and you're going to the bathroom all the time. Like your body is storing that water, you're holding on to it. Not to mention if you're working out, your body needs more water. It needs water to actually help you recover, help your muscles recover from being sore. So again, the more water you drink, the more you're probably going to hold on to. And if you're exercising and doing more things physically, your body needs more water anyway. The other thing was digestion adjustments as well. So a new diet like fiber and protein obviously can lead to temporary bloating. I don't know if any of you have ever started a health journey and you're like, I'm eating healthy, but I'm so bloated and I feel so uncomfortable. That's because your gut and your body is just not used to you eating those types of foods or that much protein for that matter, which is why with my clients, I personally slowly introduce protein. If your goal weight is like 140, 150 pounds, I'm not going to automatically having you eat that off the bat, because 9 times out of 10, you're not used to eating that much. So let's say on average, you're eating close to 80 grams of protein. I will usually bump that person up to 100 to 120 grams of protein. Eventually we'll get you to your goal weight, 140, 150 pounds, and then 140 to 150 grams of protein. And then your body starts to get accustomed to that. But at the beginning, it is very uncomfortable. Your body's trying to figure out what the heck you're doing with it. So it's very common for you to be heavier, more puffy, more bloated when you are adjusting your diet, when you're changing things for the better. The other thing was inflammation regulation. That's another thing that she didn't realize was happening within her body. The body holds water when adjusting to a new routine. The body holds water for a lot of different things. If you guys are going on trips, if you're traveling, if you're in your car a lot, whatever that looks like, your body actually creates inflammation and then it stores water to help you recover too. So when you're going on vacations and trips and you come back and you're scared shitless because you step on the scale and you gain 7 pounds, 9 times out of 10, it is literally inflammation and water weight, because you're out of your routine, because you're probably eating out of the norm, because you're not, I think I already said, sleeping your best. All of those factors go into how the scale fluctuates. So here is proof that she did not gain 5 pounds of body fat. So I'm going to kind of walk you through that next. So to prove that it was not fat, we reduced her water intake for one day. I literally dehydrated her and she lost 2.5 pounds in one day. So to prove my point, I literally said, to show you that I'm right, stop drinking water. So what'd she do? Stop drinking water, lost almost 3 pounds. We did it for another day. Guess what? She lost another 3 pounds. I think that's what it was. So again, 5.5 2.5 pounds of water weight that she was holding on to by just dehydrating her. When you guys are drinking up to 120, 160 ounces of water, your body is storing so much. So I just cannot ingrain that in your head enough for you to understand what water weight is and why that scale is fluctuating as much as it is. So the other thing I wanted to mention too is, did she burn 8,700 calories overnight? Is that why she magically lost that 2.5 pounds? No, she didn't burn that many, calories while she was laying in bed at night. But she did just dehydrate herself. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, wrestlers do it all the time. I use that as an example. They usually fluctuate because of water weight. And what do before they go to their match? They put on a sweatsuit and they run and they sweat it all out. And then they weigh in and then they usually are at their correct weight and then they're ready for their match. They're ready to go. So that was just all simply water shifting and it was not fat loss. So I wanted to kind of give you the proof there of what we did to actually be able to show her that it wasn't body fat that she had gained overnight. So now I want to kind of dive into the topic of chronic dieting and why it messes so much with the scale. So if you spent years dieting, I know this is going to hit home for somebody. If you spent years cutting out carbs, if you spent years over exercising, I can't talk today. Your body is in survival mode. So you guys have to understand, when you've put yourself through the ringer time and time again, year after year after year, your body is literally in survival mode. So it's going to hold on to water naturally because it doesn't trust you. You have not fueled it properly for years. So it thinks it needs to store that water so it has something to take care of itself, which is crazy to me. Your body is trying to take care of you. It is trying to ensure that it has all the nutrients and things that it needs just to function on a day-to-day basis. Metabolism slows down after years of calorie restriction. So that's another thing too. Like, you have to understand, like, good things take time. When you come into the Fiercely Fit program or you come to work with me, I'm a very no bullshit type of person and coach. I'm very straightforward. I do give you grace. I do give you empathy. I will be your biggest cheerleader ever. However, you have to understand, guys, when you have chronic diet your whole life and you've eaten 1,000 calories and you've done fad diets, like you've yo-yo dieted, you've done keto, you've done Optavia, you've done, I don't even know what else is out there. There's too many for me to sit here and even ponder on because it just drives me nuts. Guys, it's not realistic for your body. It is slowing down your metabolism. So when you start one and then you stop and then you start one and then you stop, done that over a long period of time, your body literally just does not trust you. You're not giving it what it needs. You're not giving it what it wants in order for it to function at its absolute best for you to lose weight and for your metabolism to be happy and healthy. The last thing that I'll mention why chronic dieting actually affects you and the scale really ultimately just comes down to your cortisol and your stress hormone, which I have educated a lot on in the past and talked about. It stays high when you aren't doing the things you need to be doing to fuel your body best, making your body more resistant to change. So you kind of have to have that also come to Jesus moment that I talk about a lot too. Like, are you chronically stressed? Your body's storing that water and that inflammation because it doesn't know how to function. You're living in fight or flight mode. Literally, that is what it is. That is what you're living in when you're stressed out all the time and then your body cannot adjust or it can't release that body fat that you're wanting to get rid of because it doesn't feel safe. Guys, our body has to feel safe. So those are just a few things why chronic dieting, again, messes with the scale. To reiterate those or go over those one more time, it holds on to water, your metabolism slows down, and then your cortisol and your stress hormone stays high. So when you finally start eating well, like this client specifically did, and she was drinking water, exercising properly, the scale may not drop right away. It may fluctuate and it might go up. And as much as you don't like that, it's actually probably a good thing that the scale's moving, period, because it tells me your metabolism is not broken. It tells me that it's going to fluctuate, tells me we're on to something versus if you were the same weight for an incredibly long time. But that does not mean your plan's not working, and I have that highlighted here, and I just want to reiterate that. A lot of you have just been told, and it's ingrained in your brain, to only measure progress by the scale, but that's not the case at all. You've got to get away from that. You have to take progress photos, measure your progress by energy, how your clothes are fitting, your measurements. I stress that so much here in Fiercely Fit because I'm trying to help all of you break ties with what society has ingrained in our brain. I know every single time you go to the doctor and they weigh you, they tell you your weight, and a lot of you that bothers you because it's not the weight that you want it to be, or even if you're a client with me working towards a fat loss goal, if you don't hit that specific number, it eats you alive. Just like this client who saw the scale go up 5 pounds, who thought she was literally gaining weight. That's not the case. So I'm just trying to teach you these fundamental things so you don't overwhelm or stress yourself out even more, which is just going to totally work against you too, or throw in the towel, worse yet, not do anything for yourself and your health because you think you're gaining body fat when it's just water weight. So a long-winded Teaching Tuesday, but I feel like it was really beneficial. If you're still here, thank you. And if you're watching the replay and you're still here, thank you too. But this is your reminder for today that the scale does not measure your progress, your habits do. I am a firm believer your habits will change your life. Looking at yourself in the mirror, looking at your body composition is a true testament to the type of habits that you have. Might be harsh, but it's the absolute truth. If you're in shape, if you're confident, if you're strong, if you feel good, look good, all the above tells me your habits are great, and if we got work to do, our habits are not that great, that is a reflection of how we look as well. And it's not to hurt anyone's feelings, it's just the reality. And that's something too that I needed to know back in the day before I started prioritizing myself and my health, that I didn't look that great, because I wasn't fueling myself and I wasn't drinking enough water and I was drinking alcohol all the time and I just wasn't doing the things that I knew I needed to be doing to create a happy, good habit fulfilled life. So I just want to encourage you to remind yourself that scale doesn't mean anything. It's all about the habits that you have created and developed to get yourself to where you want to be. The other thing is your body isn't working against you. It's learning to trust you again. I feel like that needs to be highlighted. You need to print that out. Your body is your best friend. It just wants to trust you. And water weight and fat gain are not the same thing. Okay, go back and replay this if you have to. I explained why it's not the same thing, what's happening to your body, why we really want it to fluctuate sometimes. And the reality is it's not body fat. You're not eating 3,500 calories every single day or 1,700 like that client that I was talking about was. It's just not the case at all. If you don't believe me, dehydrate yourself today. Because I know someone probably watching this thinks they're gaining weight. Dehydrate yourself. Promise, weigh yourself first thing in the morning after you go to the bathroom and it will probably be different. So trust me on that one. So to close this thing out, I do want to ask if you have ever been in this position or freaked out over the scale. Let me know down below, like drop an emoji of like a heart or I don't know, give me a time that you felt like you had gained a bunch of weight and maybe the next day you weighed yourself and it was lower. Like I think we're all on the same page that we let that scale dictate our moods and our emotions and how we feel. It makes us want to give in and give up, but that's not what we should be doing. We should be trusting the process, falling in love with the process. Everybody wants a lifestyle change until they realize that it actually takes working towards something for the rest of your life. So develop better habits, trust the game plan. That client's right back on track now. She is back down the 5 pounds she thought she had gained body fat wise when it was water weight. We're moving in the right direction. We're healing her hormones. She's healing mentally too, because it is mentally taxing and exhausting when your whole life you've been told again, to measure your weight by the scale. And if you're tired of second guessing, you literally don't know what to do or where to begin, you want to learn more stuff like I'm teaching and educating you on today, then shoot me a message or DM me the word coach. I'd love to kind of dive into the options that I have or what I do with specific clients and how I can just really help you develop that confidence that you need in yourself and break the habit of relying on the scale and thinking that that's the only way you need to measure your progress. If you're looking for a step-by-step system that takes the guesswork out of everything when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to learning more about water weight, hormones, your body, chronic dieting, like those are all things I dive into with my clients. So DM me, do not be afraid. Even if it ends up just being a conversation in the DMs and not something you sign up for, perfectly fine. I always love to hear and see from you all and see how I can bring more value to you and help you out on your own health journey. So a little bit different of a video. It is longer. Again, for those of you joining me on YouTube, thank you so much for joining. I'll be back again next Tuesday educating and talking about a different topic. And if you are watching and you have any other topics that you want me to hit on or things that you would like for me to educate on, please feel free to comment down below. I love just to really give you all what it is that you need. So if I don't know what you need, then I can't give it to you. So don't be afraid to comment that down below or even message me. And again, message me coach if you're somebody that wants to dive into things a little bit more. We're only a few months away from summer too. So here's your sign. If you want to do something about it, now would be a great time to do so. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you again for joining. Appreciate all of you. Remember, the scale does not determine your worth. Your habits do. And I guarantee you're fluctuating because you're holding on to a lot of water weight. So I'll talk to you guys soon.